All right, welcome to another PudgyBoyz Spooktacular October podcast coming at you guys from remote. We're not together tonight, guys. Like, how are you guys feeling? We're not looking right at each other. We're actually in our own homes right now.
I gotta get used to this.
This is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, I just want to touch you guys, but I can't do it.
You guys think of this?
That's pretty cool. That's a cool hat. The one that you have on is pretty cool too.
This one's cool too. Yeah, so this is another Spooktacular special coming at you guys. We are releasing. By now you've seen a couple of our Spooktacular episodes. Let us know what you guys think about them. We put a lot of time and a lot of work into them. I've edited all these videos, and I'd appreciate it if you guys like, share, and subscribe. Today though, we're gonna get into scariest movies you guys have ever seen, favorite horror movies. Favorite movies that maybe aren't horror genre, but they're kind of scary. Maybe they scared you as a kid, like Disney movies sometimes scare kids, all that type of stuff. Is there any... Well, first of all, how is your guys' fall going right now? Like your official fall started. How are you guys handling it?
Good. You can feel it through the cold weather. Not much anything else, but mostly the cold weather. And then you're walking around, you see like Halloween decorations and then costumes and even in this lobby.
Yeah. What about you over there?
Yeah, it feels good, man. I've been having a pumpkin latte every day for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, really? From Dunkin'?
From Dunkin', from Starbucks, from Tim Hortons, from the house, everywhere.
Wow.
One pumpkin latte a day keeps the doctor away.
Yeah. So besides the fall and the weather, it's getting a little chillier. It's getting a little chillier where we are. We're all appreciating that since we're all pudgy.
Yep.
Are you guys in that official? Has your mind checked in to fall and autumn and everything so far?
No, not yet. In my mind, I'm still waiting for autumn for some reason.
Yeah.
I don't know why. Maybe it's the leaves, the cold. I don't know. Pumpkin.
How about you guys? For me, I mentally transition once I set up the decorations around the house.
Yeah, you done that already?
Yeah.
Nice.
I'm looking at it right now. I got a little fox playing in the acorns. Got a bunch of pumpkins.
That's really cute.
Yeah, that's how I mentally transition between that and the pumpkin coffee. That's how we welcome fall around here.
Yeah, not too much of it though. It gives like a lot of it gives me the
the poopies.
The poopies, yeah. Too much of it. You have one a week. I think that's the limit that we're gonna go with.
That's what my doctor said too, to avoid diabetes.
Diabetes.
That's not gonna work for you.
No.
Who's your doctor?
Video bots.
So, Fazan, you're not checked in yet. I don't know why I'm pointing. Like I'm so busy. I'm so used to being next to you guys and pointing.
I'm look at you and say, like,
yeah, look at me. So Fazan, like you're not checked in yet. You're still waiting for the leaves to come down, the brown and yellow leaves. Eric's fully checked in. I think I'm fully checked in. I started breaking out my horror attire for the year. Started getting into the festive mood. Have you guys popped anything on TV? Have you watched anything fall-ish or festive fall-ish lately?
That's a good question. Why haven't I done that yet?
Maybe that's the problem.
How do we get you to start accepting fall?
I got to go pumpkin picking with my kids again. And I feel like that officially sets the tone for the fall season for me.
I'd love nothing more than to come with you.
Yeah, you're in.
That means we have another 2 weeks of summer Fazan.
In my mind, for some reason. And then when summer's over, fall's over, winter takes like a long time to set in too.
Yeah. Well, winter, you're waiting to get that chill in your body, like that. You walk outside, you got to put a jacket on type weather.
Yeah. Something
like that. All right. So like we said, we've been going over a lot of things with this Spooktacular October PudgyBoy style. Something we haven't touched on yet though is, do you guys have any, like, if you could give me a ballpark of what your top fall/horror movies that you guys are into, what are your favorite horror movies that you guys like to tap on? Doesn't have to be in any order. Just spit out whatever you guys like.
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is pretty scary.
That's a great, yeah, he is.
That's like a nice little, why am I dart?
Is that one you make a point of watching every year?
No, I don't do that. That's the one thing I don't do. I don't have a list that I like every year. It's not like I gotta start watching the movie from here and then watch this movie, then watch this movie. This is just off the top of my head that I would put on and just watch for some random reason. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
It's a great movie.
I'm like you, because there's some people who like they make it a thing like all October to watch scary movies.
It's a good routine.
I guess to get like in the mood. I've heard that too before. Like people do that for Christmas. They'll watch a bunch of Christmas movies leading up to Christmas. So people do that with Halloween. They'll watch scary stuff. I'm like you. I don't do that. I actually don't like scary movies.
No, really.
PudgyBoyz out.
That's interesting. You don't like scary, but you like jump scare. You don't like.
I just
you think it's like cheesy, right?
Yeah, I despise any sort of like jump scary monster movie. Like to me, a scary movie would be like The Shining. I guess that'd be a little more scary because it's more like psychological.
Okay,
that's up there for me. The Shining.
So, like, just to be on the same page here, you don't mind the occasional jump scare, but if like a movie overdoes it, like where they rely on it, that's too much.
Like the prototypical movie that I don't know why is the first movie that just jumped right into my mind is The Nun.
Oh, that's a jump scare movie.
Yeah, it's got some scares.
I remember they overhyped this so much with the trailer. They put out a trailer like it was actually one of the scariest whatever, it's quote unquote scary trailers because they actually used a jump scare in the trailer, which they never usually do. Whatever. So I remember that movie was so hyped up, and like the entire movie was all jump scares. It was just.
You know what's another jump scare movie? Paranormal Activity.
Yeah, but you know what it is? They made it work though. You know, They made it real work because it was a lot of suspenseful.
Yeah.
It was a lot of suspenseful jump scare. Like they did a lot of things which I'm a big fan of. They made you think that jump scares were happening, and you're sitting there waiting, and then nothing happens. I think that's really good.
Well, the problem with that is too, like the first one was really good, and then now they like branched out to like 7 of them.
Yeah,
there's a whole bunch of them. The last one doesn't even make sense anymore.
What was the last one? Another
Lost Dimensions. Something. I think that's what it's called.
I don't know. The first couple, like the first 3, were really good because they were jumping in between sequels and prequels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and then I think it just lost its way.
I also like scary movies, which are very rare, but ones that kind of reinvent the wheel, which is really hard to do for a scary movie. So I'll give you an example. Like the first Saw movie, I thought was really original.
It was
something like that. I think that's an incredible movie. So I like scary movies. I'm sorry.
Gives you that twist ending you didn't think was coming.
Yeah, so I like these scary type of movies that kind of try to reinvent the wheel. It's very hard to do because the formula for scary movies is very ABC. But some of these movies actually kind of do that. Hereditary is another one.
Oh my god, my favorite.
Yeah, that's really creepy. And Midsommar, that's another one.
I was quick story about Midsommar. I was watching the movie in the theater, and this woman was by herself. So we're watching. There's a scene in that movie. There's no spoilers at this point. There's a scene in that movie where the guy is taking the virginity of one of the cult women, and he's having sex with her.
Not by choice, right?
Not by choice. And everyone's watching him. This lady gets up out of her seat. She goes, I'm done. I'm out of here. I can't do this anymore. She gets up and walks right out. This is like an hour into the movie.
From what I remember, there was a very disturbing scene too.
It was, and it's just like there was just like 30 of us in the theater, and we're all just sitting there in silence, just watching this. And it's a little freaky for that. But she couldn't take it though. She got up and she walked out.
What are some scary movies that kind of shaped our? You want to start with childhood, then go to teenage years?
Sure.
What are some scary movies that kind of shaped our childhood?
For me, probably in the early days of my childhood, when I was able to start watching these type of things, Scream. The first Scream was up there with probably one of the best slasher movies of all time. I don't know how you guys feel about slasher movies, but some of them are really good. Scream is up there for me. Saw, like you said, because that was like 2004, so that's still early enough.
That's already going to teenage years. I mean, start with more like childhood.
Oh,
like when you're a kid.
Childhood scary movie.
Preteens. Like I know a big one for me. I mean, I didn't like the movie, but a big, really popular one was I Know What You Did Last Summer.
That's a great movie.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah, that's like a childhood classic for us.
Yeah. One that was teetering towards the teenage years was The Ring.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
another one. That's a good. Yeah.
Which is a remake of a Japanese horror movie.
There was
Sure.
another one, the one with the Grudge. Oh,
The
the Grudge. Yeah, that's
Grudge is
what it's called.
yeah, that's it. The Grudge is up there definitely.
What else?
If you're looking at like 90s, because that's when we were kind of kids. So we're still kids now, but we're just a little pudgier
Yeah. Better dressed.
and well better dressed. Look at that suit. Little stain on it though. 90s horror. I'm looking at you're looking at a couple remakes too, which I wasn't a big fan of back then. But like I said, Scream for me would probably be
Scream is a big one, yeah.
Scream. That was like 96, 97.
We kind of missed, because we grew up in the 90s, we kind of missed that whole 80s, because 80s was big for horror movies. We missed
was
that
huge.
we missed that whole 80s get up, I guess.
Like what? You guys remember Chucky?
Love Chucky, man.
That
Look at
was
this.
more 80s, right?
That's
All
like
those
the
movies came out in
80s.
the 80s, didn't they? Like Shining, Chucky, Nightmare on Elm Street, right? All those
Here it
movies.
is.
This is an
Yeah.
energy drink.
Yeah.
We got that together.
We did well. Yeah,
What
Chucky, kind of Leprechaun. Like if you're looking at more cheesy stuff, 80s was big for like Friday the 13th and all these like sequels that ran through the 80s, Night of the Living Dead remakes and all that stuff.
Halloween.
Halloween, yeah, that was teetering on the 80s, but yeah, it was crazy. Stuff is
Texas Chainsaw Massacre is old too, right? From like the 80s?
74,
Damn,
1974. Yeah,
that movie's still good.
it's amazing how it holds up like that.
It makes you think like it's real for some reason.
It was based off. It was based off that serial killer Ed Gein. So you could laugh, God. So it was a guy who used to skin people's faces and not wear them as masks, but that was kind of the. But he would skin people's faces, and that's kind of how they got the idea. The whole chainsaw thing was kind of horrorized into a movie.
Oh, so it was like added on. It wasn't like the original.
Yeah.
one?
There was no. He didn't run around with a chainsaw.
Gotcha. There's another one. I just looked at the list. The Blair Witch Project.
Yeah. Oh, that was a really
That
good
movie
one.
was
Oh my God.
What was that?
really
90,
scary.
like 99.
That's
Yeah.
99.
And if, I don't know about you guys. I was 10 at the time, so I didn't have any feel for checking if things were real or not. So I'm sitting here believing
It's real.
these people are missing.
That's what you were thinking. That's what I was thinking. Too.
Because at the time, that's what all of the the advertising they were doing for the movie. If you look on YouTube and stuff like that, there's things where they told these 3 actors to like lay low because while this movie was coming out, because they wanted this thing to be as real as possible.
That's really good marketing.
It is,
Marketing geniuses, yeah.
and it works. It worked at the time, but now like the found footage thing has kind of been like crumbled up and overused.
I think that's generally like the scariest movie I know. Blair Witch Project. Maybe it's from my childhood. That's why. But every
Yeah.
time I watch that movie, it's so creepy. Even when I go camping, it reminds me of that movie for some reason.
Yeah, that's scary stuff. Blair Witch.
Yeesh.
Moving towards like teenage years. That was
Remember
more
s-
like I'm trying
Mhm.
to think.
Remember Scary Movie? Like the parodies that you
Yeah,
make of horror movies? That
that
was
was
pretty fun.
those movies, the 1 and 2 were absolutely hilarious.
Nothing beats 1 and 2. 3 was good. And then 4, I don't know what the hell happened to them.
Yeah, too many people got involved. Like Shaq, like I don't need to see Shaq in a comedy role. He doesn't do it for me.
Yeah, if
2
you
was
could-
really good.
yeah.
Two was up there with. Oh my god,
I'm gonna mix this for you.
taters are done
Every time we eat at work, I always think about that.
every time.
Yeah.
You should say it more often.
I don't want to offend anybody.
Oh, there's. Well, I'm not gonna say it. Like like 2000s was where that was like the Saw. You guys remember like the 2000s was brought back. Eli Roth was big with like horror torture porn type stuff like Hostel,
I was gonna say, was someone with the cabin? Was it Cabin in the Woods? Something like that?
Cabin Fever.
Cabin Fever. Yeah.
Yeah, that was I think it's a really good movie.
Hostel was a big one too.
Hostel was Hostel's. If you're into like seeing people get tortured, like that's that kind of movie. If you're into that,
That's not like scary. That's like
It's just like
disturbing.
Yeah, like you don't want to be in that situation.
Yeah, like I wouldn't enjoy watching it or being in the situation.
No. But
another guy, I don't know how you feel about him. I'm not a fan, but he's like a big horror cult guy, like Rob Zombie. You know those movies he made?
Yeah, I can't.
You're not a fan either?
I can't do I thought he completely butchered the Halloween movies.
What's the other one? The House of like 1,000 Corpses.
He's got that. He did Devil's Rejects, 3 from Hell.
People love him. Yeah. People love his stuff. I don't personally, but I'm not like a horror guy.
I don't see any direction when he makes a movie. It's kind of just like bunched up, and guys are just killing. Like his wife is in every movie. He casts his wife in every movie. So I don't know what the plans is for like 3 from Hell. Stupid to me.
But when you mentioned Eli Roth, I thought of Rob Zombie. He's like a guy who popped up in the 2000s.
He was big.
Sorry to cut you guys off. What kind of horror genre scares you the most? Like ghost stuff, zombie stuff, Texas Chainsaw Massacre type stuff, Blair Witch Project type stuff. What kind of stuff scares you?
Very good question. Very good question.
Because I know Saw isn't scary. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project is creepy. It's scary.
Maybe like a psychological thriller, but that's not really a horror though.
To me, I've always had like a cheap infatuation for found footage. Like those movies kind of get me a little bit. Anything involving kids kind of creeps me out. Like Children of the Corn, The Exorcist.
I remember that.
That type of stuff. Like that's a little freaky when kids are involved. But found footage probably is my favorite. That kind of creeps me out. Like,
because I think your mind wants to make you believe that's real.
Because you're watching it as if someone's filming something and showing it to you as if it's really happening. That's kind of how I go into the movie thinking, just to make it a fun experience.
I know it's not considered a horror movie, but Cloverfield.
I love Cloverfield.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
Great movie.
Yeah.
They did such a good job of not showing you the monster the entire time. They just give you like bits and pieces.
Such a cool movie. You know what the 2000s also brought back? I think it started with True Blood. They brought back the love affair of vampires.
Well, that's from Twilight.
Twilight was before True Blood?
I think Twilight was like 06, 07. The first one came out. I don't know. I never watched True Blood. So I don't know if
it's Twilight, True Blood, but they brought back vampires because ever since that stuff, that's where the vampire genre started like popping up everywhere. Everything was vampires.
Yeah, it was like that love story too. Like the whole love story with Twilight, and the books were a huge sell. But the whole vampire thing was
it's overdone.
It's overdone now.
I don't want to see any more vampires.
It'll make a comeback in like another 10 years or so. You know, when people get used to not seeing that stuff.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess. You know, movies are good. You know, it's a good movie you guys should watch. There's 3 adaptations of it. The Blob.
I'm looking at it right now.
It's not. Which one?
3 blobs.
I'm looking at 3 of them. I'm looking at 3 adaptations right now, bro.
Yeah, it's not bad. Like the one from the 80s. It's cheesy, but you got to be into that cheesy kind of stuff. It's like things like Leprechaun and all that stuff. It's fun to watch.
You know what else is overdone? I guess we're on the topic of things that are overdone. Exorcist movies.
Yeah, they took a breather for a while.
Not The Exorcist, actually, but like just Exorcist movies in general.
Yeah, they took a breather for a while because in the early 2000s they were coming out with a lot of movies, and then they kind of like stopped. I think they heard what you were saying, and then I think they stopped for like 10 years, and now they're starting to pick up a little bit. Like the Exorcist sequels coming out, which actually looks pretty good. That should be a lot of fun, but. Exorcist movies themselves. There's a couple found footage ones too that are kind of
Exorcist, Possessions, all that stuff. I feel like that's still it's a little bit overdone.
Yeah, some of them are pretty good though. If you just give them a chance, they're pretty good. You might like one.
What else? Insidious.
It's a really good movie.
That's pretty
Insidious. Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That I just remembered the Amityville Horror.
Yes. Yeah.
That was a big one back in the day.
Huge one because it was a true story.
That's creepy. I think
you guys done with the whole haunted house like movies? Do they still get you?
Like the house is haunted, or like there's
Yeah.
haunted stuff inside.
Just a movie with like a haunted house scenario.
Well, it depends on if it's good or not. It's the best answer I can give you. Like, if you give me like The Conjuring, I'm going to tell you I'm not going to be tired of it because that Conjuring was a great movie. But then if you give a few of them are good. If you give me like The Haunting on the Hill House, I'm going to tell you that was great too.
That was a great movie. That was a great show.
Great show. I think it just depends on what you feel and what you want to watch. I don't think anything's excuse me, I don't think anything's overdone, but if you just like what you like, and you're going to like what they put out.
Do you guys consider the Final Destination series like a horror thing?
I guess.
What does that fall under?
Suspense, horror.
So it does fall, but it's not
Probably
like the same level of horror though.
Probably has
It's
like 10
horror.
different genres.
We're into
That's
those. I was never into those.
Yeah, the Final Destinations were pretty good. The first and second one were the first one's really good. Anything the first one is always good. It's like a brand new, fresh idea. The second one was kind of good, and then they just started progressively getting worse as they go along. More catch. It's like catch grabs.
Because they kept doing the same thing.
Yeah. But shifting into like TV, do you guys have any TV type stuff that you put on during the full season?
You know what? You know what doesn't help either? Now that you have the option of like streaming services, you're not going to put on like certain shows because you just want to watch and relax, and you don't want to start a whole new series or a whole new movie. So you just watch what you're used to. Like, for example, The Office. You want to eat something, you come home from work, you're eating, and you put on The Office. With cable TV, stuff was already on. You just flip the channels, something grabbed your attention, and you just started watching. That's how I started watching like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Like, it was just on TV. That doesn't help either. You guys agree with that?
Yeah, sick as it sounds, you want to like, not you, just in general, you want to think as little as possible. You just want, especially after work or something. You want your brain to shut off. You don't want to start something new. You don't want to. So I get that. You go with what you know, and like usually comedy is like a simple form of entertainment.
Yeah, like The Office, Friends. You're just watching that, and that makes you happy.
Yeah.
I never watched American Horror Story, but that's like a big one.
That's a really good show.
I heard that. I couldn't watch that for too long.
No?
Probably like one episode I saw, and that's it. First season.
That's good. You gave it a chance at least.
The first season is really good, actually.
Oh, is it?
It's one of the best seasons.
Yeah.
I couldn't catch on for some reason. I don't know.
Yeah.
It didn't hook me in.
Maybe you were sleeping.
That's a big one as far as horror goes. The whole thing on Hill House is always good.
Yeah, those shows have been. Blind Manor was really good.
Manor. As far as scary shows,
Supernatural.
yeah, that counts. Listen, that counts. That's a really good show.
It's one of my favorite shows.
You like it?
Yeah.
It says like 20 seasons, doesn't it?
Yeah, like 14, I think. I can't remember.
So one of your
crazy.
favorite shows is the horror genre.
There you go.
Yeah,
Scared? Does it scare you, bro? I'll tell you guys one of. Oh my god! Excuse me. Something's in my throat. I'll show you guys one of my favorite shows. What I do every year, I get these. I had these comics.
Tales from the Crypt.
Yes. So they smell really good. So I read these comics every year, and I watch the show, like Tales from the Crypt. Like you said, you want to just put something on and have to think as least as possible. But for some reason, when you put on these horror shows during like this time of year, it all kind of blends in together. So like when you said you're watching The Office, like if I was going to put something on without having to think, I'd put on like the Halloween episodes of The Office, and I would watch those just to get like that fall feel and just to continue the fall feel. Like the Charlie Brown specials that come on every year, those are a big thing for me. If I'm watching like Hey Arnold or something like that, or all these old cartoons, like all the times that they dress up and have Halloween episodes and stuff.
You specifically go out of your way to put those episodes on, or
I try to just
cable.
No, I try to find. So if I'm going to be streaming something, I'll find my way to something on the more of the fall Halloween-ish type side when it comes to watching stuff, just to keep myself in that mood.
That requires a lot of dedication.
That's a lot of work, trust me.
You really get yourself in that mindset, the Halloween mindset.
Yeah, well, I don't know, because the problem is, I don't want to get too grim here, but it is Halloween. Well, we have, how many of these do we have left? 40, 30, 20, some of us.
It can't be enough.
I don't want to be grim, but we don't have a lot of these left. We have to kind of enjoy, for the most part, the fall season as much as we can. Whatever that does, whatever that means.
Word.
Have you guys ever been uncomfortable enough to the point where you've been watching a movie and had to shut it off? Not because you didn't like it, just because you couldn't physically or mentally get through it. Has there ever been that type of movie for you? Or show?
No, I can't remember anything right now. Nothing that scary where it makes me want to turn it off.
No, I've heard other people doing it. Usually,
like that lady in Midsommar when she walked out of the theater.
Yeah. No, nothing personally. Nothing really got to me that bad.
If it's something like too gruesome or too like brutal, I just don't feel like watching it. Like Saw, for example.
Yeah, the Saw had some.
It doesn't keep me engaged. It's just like, ugh.
Actually, the last movie we all saw together, The Evil Dead.
That was pretty good.
As
gory as that movie is, that was.
It was the scene where she took a cheese grater and she was like grating.
Oh yeah, that was pretty sick.
That's actually the first time I remember like turning. Like I didn't turn away fully, but I remember that's the first time in a long time where I was watching something where I kind of like.
Yeah, you just like.
It was way too gory. I would never watch that movie again, but when I was watching
that movie sucked. That's that movie I talk about that I really dislike. Like I don't know, but that scene is the first time I remember in a very long time where I had to look away a little bit because that was
good. It did its job.
They did a good job, yeah.
Yeah.
The creepiest.
Go ahead.
The creepiest part of that movie was like when she looks through the peephole, and then she sees the possessed girl on the other side, the possessed lady, and she's just staring back at her.
That lady did a great job, though. She was really good. That actress.
My God, that was scary.
Side note, quick for that movie. I think the scariest part of that whole experience is the fact that we all only ordered popcorn and a soda and nothing else.
Some of us.
Well, what did it? Oh, he got like, where is he? Why am I opposite here? He got like 2 things of popcorn, didn't he?
Yeah, it's free.
Okay, well,
because the refill was free. Like you buy one, but you get the refill for free.
I don't think it's free.
Yes, some of us have class, and we didn't get anything else.
It's free when someone pays for it, but it's free when someone pays for it.
If you buy one, the refill is free. That's what I was told.
Well, the first one was free, so it's all free. So, quick for me, Hereditary was that movie. When I was in the theater, I genuinely felt uncomfortable watching this movie, and not in a bad way. Like I have to leave. Like it did its job. Like it made me feel the hairs going up on my arm and the goosebumps, and it just made me feel uneasy watching the movie. Which to me that's outstanding.
I saw the movie theaters too, and what made it creepier is there was only 5 people in the theater at the time.
That kills me sometimes, right? Like I'd rather more people. Like I'd rather like 20 people in the theater, not like 3.
It made it weirder though, because it was like that type of movie was like I don't know. You felt more like alone.
Yeah.
Would you rather have more? You would rather have more people in the theater?
Yeah.
I don't want too many. I don't want like a full house because then people talk and get loud and you gotta.
That sometimes gets away from the movie too. Yeah, it takes.
You want just enough to feel safe.
I want just enough to where we're all experiencing something together, like 15 of us. Somehow, I don't know about you guys. I always wind up next to like the loudest person in the movie theater.
People just don't have the etiquettes, bro.
I just don't get like if there's a scary scene, I don't need you to scream at the top of your lungs just to get a laugh from the theater.
No.
You don't have to do that.
No, don't go there. Don't open that door.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that. I would never do that. She's stupid.
Oh man, that's mostly outside of New York.
Yeah, I don't know what that accent is, by the way. I'm throwing that out there as a test. You guys have any final thoughts on like Halloween? You guys ready? I mean, we got to get this guy in the fall mood already. Like, what's going on here?
Start with the coffee, bro. Start trying the pumpkin coffee.
Maybe you should have a pumpkin latte and then get back to us and see how you feel after that.
Okay, you got me. I'm gonna go pumpkin picking first.
2
At the
weeks.
very least, bro. At the very least, have you had cider donuts yet?
No, I usually start that off with pumpkin picking, like the first day.
Tell your kids to get their act together. Tell them to start go pumpkin picking. Don't take dad out. Dad needs to pick me up. Dad needs some donuts. Dad needs some coffee. Dad needs to feel full.
Dad needs to be. Just on final thing too. If anybody's interested in one of the greatest horror TV shows of all time, Tales from the Crypt. It was shot in the 90s. A lot of famous actors are in this TV show, like Brad Pitt, Demi Moore. A lot of these famous people are in this show. I don't want to cover my face. It's really good. Give it a shot. Start it. It's on I don't know where it is. It's on YouTube. You can watch all the episodes on YouTube. It's not on HBO or HBO Max or whatever it's called now. But that's my favorite horror TV show. So if anybody wants to watch that, including you guys, to give it a shot during this holiday season.
Sweet.
Maybe we'll do an episode. Maybe we'll do an episode where we watch it
Oh, intent.
because me and Fazan never watched it. So
No,
A lot of twist endings. Joe Pesci's in an episode, Eric. Did you
maybe
know
we'll
that?
do an episode for Halloween for October.
all right,
All
I
right.
guess that's it. That's all I have.
That's all I have.
Remember the movie Smile?
Yes. And you kept doing that at work.
Yes, that's a creepy movie. Eric, you should watch that. See what I mean? It's freaky. Look at him. All right, guys. I will see you guys on the flippity flip. I don't know when we're going to see each other again.
At this point, never.
Hopefully soon. And I will get up and I will take a bow for you guys.
PudgyBoyz out.